Carl, first thing I've got to tell you about the film is one of my few complaints about the film is that I wanted to see your character in it more. I mean, this character is almost so cool that I've caught myself a few times cheering for him. What was it that appealed to you about this character that you play in Priest?
Well, I think what appealed to me about the character of Black Hat was the fact that he's a warrior priest. He's someone who, you know, belonged to this brotherhood, and in the course of fighting a war against these vampires, fell in battle and was transformed into the very thing that he'd been fighting. And to me, that was a very, very interesting element to the story, and a kind of a foundation from the character. And you know, I read the script and thought it was a really kind of wonderful character-driven piece. Met with Scott Stewart and found him to be a really specific director. I mean, he had a very clear vision for this film, and so, you know, that was a pretty good indication that it's something that you should do.
Now, one of the things we see in the trailer for the film is this incredible fight scene between you and Paul Bettany. Talk a little bit about the physicality and what went into putting that whole thing together.
Well, you know, we trained extensively for it. I think we had about 3 or 4 weeks of fight training, martial arts, and it was tough. It was brutal. I mean, it was, you know, one of the I think the few fight sequences that I've done in a film where injuries were actually sustained. I mean, you know, we're fighting atop a moving train. I mean, it's there's not much room for mistakes.
This was one of the... We haven't often seen you play a pure, straight-out villain. What are some of the challenges for you when you're approaching a character like that, as opposed to some other characters we've seen you play, where you're either a hero or kind of a misunderstood villain?
Yeah. That's a good question. I mean, see, I never really looked at the character like that he was a villain. To me, that's, you know, you can't, you know, if you're playing a villain, I don't think necessarily do yourself any favors by taking that road. You know, I mean, I just looked at it like, you know, this character found himself in a situation, and it was about making the best of a bad situation, and you know, at the end of the day, he does what he does, you know, for reasons only known to himself.